It is an honor to offer some closing comments. First, in consort with 600 conference attendees, an enormous thanks is due to those who conceived, then magnificently realized this amazing worldwide e-conference. Thanks especially go to Martin Howard, then to the vast collective wisdom of presenters and delegates alike. Second, little did I know in 1977 that as second director of a mediation program begun in 1975 and arising from a court proceeding that became known in restorative justice lore as the Elmira case, the program would be replicated eventually around the world. Third, a great personal mentor early on was Dr. Ruth Morris. Her rallying cry about restorative justice was not enough. She ever called for a transformative justice that would shake Western criminal justice systems to their very foundations. Amplified echoes of that call are heard in this Kairos moment from around the world. Mahatma Gandhi once said what he thought of Western civilization. I think it would be a good idea. Astra Taylor has written a great book with a great title, Democracy May Not Exist, but We'll Miss It When It's Gone. Looking forward, Ruth Morris, if alive today, might say, transformative, restorative justice ever remains a good idea. And while never fully realizable in any society, we'll miss it when it's gone. Surely this conference has served as grand catapult into a hopeful future. Again, thank you all.
Hi. The RJ World 2020 conference has been a phenomenal experience. I've heard speakers from across the world, some of them mentors whom I've worked with, some whose work I've read but never met, and some whom I connected with for the first time. And the learning has been deeply enriching. I'm so grateful to the organizing team for having conceptualized and created this space, and especially to Martin for his warmth and support. I presented at the conference and also wrote a piece sharing my experience with restorative work, and I was so warmed by everyone who reached out and connected. The takeaway for me from this conference is that restorative work is so multi-layered. It extends from the personal to the social and even to the systemic. We can use restorative work to address systemic harm, and it all begins with us. Restorative work is not about a specific program or a process, it's a way of being. Leif Seligman in her presentation said that justice in private is what tenderness looks like. And we all need that tenderness for ourselves and for those around us. We need to offer ourselves that compassion so that we can offer it to others. Social justice work doesn't always need to be about battles and armor and fights. We need courage, yes, but often the strongest form of courage is vulnerability. And we can work towards a world where there is more justice, more inclusion, more belonging, and more equity through acts of vulnerability, through acts of care for ourselves and for those around us. And that for me is where the power of restorative work really lies. I'm so grateful to have been a part of this conference and look forward to connecting with you.
We're coming to the end of this wonderful conference and I'm feeling quite sad. I've been watching so many fabulous presentations. I think I'm somewhere between 20, 30, maybe more over the last week. Still got the weekend, still got a few more to watch, but it's been amazing, hasn't it? I've made a few Q&A sessions as well, and I just feel so full of new ideas. My batteries have been recharged. I've got things I want to follow up, references I want to read. It's been great to have those comments where we've been able to communicate with each other. I think I've reconnected with a few people, and it's been fantastic. I really want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Martin, whose brainchild this has been, I think, and who's done so much to make it work. I mean, fantastic, Martin. Well done. Thank you. All the sponsors from all over the world, all over the world who have helped to make this possible. To the European Forum for Restorative Justice, who added me to their slate. So grateful that I've had a chance to be a presenter as well as a delegate at this conference, and all the keynotes. I mean, wow. I'm not going to mention anybody because it's if I mention somebody, I'm going to miss somebody else out. But honestly, I've been so touched and so intrigued, fascinated, challenged by everything. So I'm going to say bye-bye. Martin's asked me to make this film as one of the people to say goodbye. And I hope we have something like this again. I don't know about you, but I haven't watched every presentation and I would really love to have the time. So fingers crossed we're going to be able to do something about that, and rewatch things. So we'll see. Thank you again to everybody, and yeah, maybe see you next year.
Good day to all our Restorative Justice World Conference delegates and organizers. I'm speaking to you this morning from a rainy South Africa. It's almost the last few days of our winter. We started with spring from the 1st of September, but it's good to just connect with you all again. And first of all, I would like to thank Martin and his team for all the arrangements behind the scenes regarding this Restorative Justice Conference. But I also want to thank Lisa and the Restorative Justice International Global Council, of which I'm also a member, for their support as well. And every organization that was financially contributing to this conference, thank you, thank you, thank you. You all brought restorative justice on the global map. Everybody's excited about this restorative justice conference. Everybody speaks about it. You see it on Facebook, you see it on WhatsApp. And so we just want to thank God and thank you all that we could let the world know that justice and peace and reconciliation and forgiveness is possible, and healing the wounds of crime is possible, because restorative justice speaks about that crime damaged relationships, and these relationships need to be restored, and we need to address these damaged relationships. Restorative justice is the way forward. So I'm waiting to see another conference and more topics on this restorative justice. So thank you very much for everyone on behalf of Hope Prison Ministry in South Africa as well, and my wife Jennifer Clayton. God bless you.
As the sun sets on RJ 2020, I am so appreciative of this extraordinary global restorative justice conference. I want to thank Martin Howard and the organizers, the sponsors, all of the extraordinary presenters, and the committed delegates who spent the last week enriching our lives and our capacity to create a more just and loving world. I'm so appreciative of the global perspective that I was able to learn from so many of my colleagues across the globe. I hope, like me, you have come away from this conference enriched and inspired, challenged in meaningful ways. I certainly appreciate Tim Chapman's call to keep the justice in restorative justice. I appreciate the courage of Alva Griffith, who shows us personally the profound possibilities in victim-offender dialogues. I learned from Jonathan Clayton how men in prison can come to a place of profound accountability and transformation. I learned from so many of you. I've made new collegial relationships, perhaps even friendships, and grown so much more in my own restorative practice. So I wish all of you well in this deeply troubling time. I can't think of a more important period in history for us to bring our tenderness, our compassion, our critical thinking to bear, to bring the indigenous traditions that ground restorative justice and all of our innovations together so that we can help Tikkun Olam, mend the torn fabric of creation, together. Take good care and be well.
Soy su amiga Claudia Villavicencio y la oportunidad de este espacio es para agradecer a todos y cada uno de los que participaron en este maravilloso movimiento del RJ World 2020. Gracias a los más de 2,000 personas que se interesaron por la ponencia que tuve el honor de compartir en el marco de este magnífico evento. Muchas gracias a mi querida Virginia Domingo por también participar en esta ronda de preguntas y respuestas. Gracias a todos los que compartieron sus ponencias. Este ha sido un movimiento maravilloso y estoy segura que todas y cada una de las ponencias ayudarán a construir un mundo mejor para todos. Sigamos trabajando en pro de construir la paz desde la justicia restaurativa. Muchas gracias y enhorabuena. Ha sido un honor para mí participar en RJ World 2020. Gracias.
Afternoon, folks. So, by way of a few comments in relation to the conference, first of all, the way I see things is I think they operate in a dialectical fashion. So here we are surrounded by COVID, and what emerges out of this is a pre-planned conference that then had to transform itself into a virtual experience. And out of this, I think some amazing things have happened. The ability to see and participate in many more presentations than you typically would, I think has been one of the real benefits. The other thing too is I think the ability to interact with so many different individuals as well has been an added feature. And if one just thinks of the environmental effects, I think they're probably astounding. The other thing though that we're in the middle of is the ugly face of anti-Black racism. And I would hope too that as that has swept over so many individuals and communities and nations, certainly in North America, but not just restricted there, that there would be a similar sort of dialectic, and that our work as restorative practitioners will take some of the ideas and thoughts and values around peace building, ecosystems, whole city and whole systems transformation would also have a similar sort of dialectical and transformative effect, where that our work in restorative justice really is the door opener to economic, racial, and systemic justice. I'd like to thank Martin and probably a horde of people behind the scenes who made this possible.
Hello everyone, and greetings from Australia. It's Marg Thorsborn here. I was one of the presenters this week with my team Sue and Bev, and I just wanted to say a few words as we come to the end of the conference, mostly in gratitude really. First of all, I'd like to thank the sponsors for the extraordinary support that they've created to make this conference possible. I mean, I've got this huge list in front of me, and some of these sponsors, some of these groups I know really well, but what I've loved, of course, is that there are other places that have supported and other groups that have supported, and that in itself is extraordinary given how young this field is. But what's so very encouraging, of course, is how very widespread our world of restorative justice and restorative practice is these weeks and these years. So I'd like to give a special thanks actually to Martin Howard, who I suspect was amongst the folk who came up with this brainchild of a virtual conference. And I do know, because I know Martin very well, that this whole conference was conducted from his computer at his home. So he's been very busy this week and incredibly helpful. So thank you, Martin. I'm completely boggled by your capacity to do this kind of stuff. I've really loved the format of this conference, and that is it's been a completely delicious array of spectacular presentations and keynotes. And, you know, the brainchild bit of it was that COVID meant gathering for conferences like this has not been possible, and I suspect this conference might have changed the face of international conferences as we go forward. I've loved the fact that I've been able to watch whichever presentations I've chosen, either while I'm doing my ironing with my laptop open in front of me, or late at night when the household's gone to bed and I still want to hang on to the next delicious bit. But I have to say, my greatest frustration was that this week I had to work every day this week, which meant I could not watch absolutely everything that I wanted to watch. So we've been spoilt for choice, and I am incredibly appreciative of the fact that people have worked really hard to present and put their stuff together. There's just been some stunning work that's been done, and I know that the organisation that I'm on the board of, Restorative Practices International, has been very proud to be part of this, along with all the other very famous organisations. So thank you to Martin, thank you to the other sponsors, and I just would like to say goodbye to everyone and say what a blast it's been, and please go forth and restore. So all the best. Take very good care and wash your hands a lot. Okay, bye.
Hello everyone. What a great privilege and pleasure it was for me to be part of this ERJ World Conference. Especially in this time of restrictions and social distancing, it was so refreshing to be in touch with the worldwide RJ community. What a variety and richness of presentations that came together. I regret not having had the time to see all of the presentations, but those I saw touched me deeply. I leave this time very enriched, grateful for all that I have learned, all the food for thought that I got, and the things I take with me that challenge me and upon which I want to reflect further, especially for my own practice. Already when I first heard about the idea of this RJ World Conference, I was simply thrilled, and my expectations were not disappointed. On the contrary, it was also a special privilege for me that as a Swiss RJ Forum, we were invited to participate as co-sponsors, and so I would like to thank all the other co-sponsors who made this conference possible. And a big thank you to Martin Howard, who invented and organized the whole conference. A huge thank you to you all. It was a fantastic experience. I very much hope that there will be further opportunities to exchange ideas at an international level and to share and learn from each other. I really appreciated this time so much. I wish you all the best in this challenging time. Stay safe, take care, and I hope that we can be in touch again. Warm regards from Switzerland and goodbye.
Well, it's goodbye from RJ World. Thank you for coming in and joining and making this an enriching place to be, whether you're a speaker, whether you're a co-sponsor or a delegate. Thank you for making this a rich exchange of ideas. Thank you for making it a friendly place. Even though we're in the electronic format, it's really heartening to see the care and the attention and beauty in our exchanges. And I've just really enjoyed getting to know some of you through email, just little passing conversations. I've really enjoyed that. And I hope we get to do something similar to this in the future. But for now, it's goodbye. Thank you.